today, I have invited two amazing people who are double presidential diamonds, US and Australian founders in the company. And over the last decade, actually, they have led thousands of people like you guys here in this call to create true financial freedom and live a wonderful life. And, they have more than 600 diamonds in their teams, and they are uniquely prepared to help you succeed with your business. I mean, they were guests in our calls in the past, and they always shared very practical, ready-to-use principles. A lot of people that use those principles change their lives for the better. And they also were deeply involved to write and to create the program that we call Empower Success. So they're true heroes. They know the StrengthsFinder program in and out. They're using it on a daily basis. So please welcome Andy and Natalie Goddard, who hopefully will be able also to join a little bit later. So Andy, please take the virtual microphone and share your experiences. I think you received the questions, right? Because we've sent a couple of questions. Because also, let me just add that many people started to use it in the last 1 or 2 years, and that just raised a lot of questions. So I collected the questions and I sent it to Andy and Natalie, and they're going to help us to have a good understanding. So the stage is yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that gracious introduction, Oliver. We met Oliver a few years ago, and we've just loved partnering with him. He has such a clear vision and such a powerful mind for bringing people and ideas together and just making things work. So thank you for the invitation, and it's a privilege to be here with this beautiful community. So a big hello from us here in Utah. StrengthsFinder is such a powerful conversation and has been a game changer for us personally. We were invited by Laura Jacobs to do a double date with her and her husband and me and Natalie. And so we came together about 12 years ago, and we all took the StrengthsFinder test. It was Jerry Jacobs who realized the power and usefulness of the test. And so he recommended we all take it together. We all took it. We all looked at our results together. And it was so fascinating to see, Laura Jacobs has command as her top strength. And, Jerry has all these relationship gifts that are his top strengths. I have lots of influencing gifts in mine. And so with that knowledge, we had done a little bit of partnering before then, but with this new tool of understanding our own strengths and each other's strengths, we have created so much together so powerfully. Both of us are double blue diamonds in doTERRA. We've created lots of books together. We created the Empowered Success System together. And anytime you're doing a collaboration, whether it's in doTERRA or side projects, understanding people's unique gifts is crucial, and leveraging those gifts, putting people in the right seats on the bus is absolutely imperative to get the best result and make the most of the team. So the Empowered Success project is one of the projects that we're most proud of, because we really collected the voice of the field in terms of what works and what's necessary to be successful in doTERRA, and we canonized it. We made a written record of success. So it's not a mystery. Like, nobody has to scratch their head and say, I have no idea how to do this business. Like we put it down in writing. And so I can only attribute knowing our strengths and leveraging those to being able to make that happen. So it's really, really crucial to understand your strengths and the strengths of your key builders in order to go as far as you can, to do the most good, to build and strengthen people. Ultimately, that's what I think the real power is. It's not the projects that we create, it's the people we develop. And so StrengthsFinder helps us shift our focus off of, team volume and the most number of classes, the most number of enrollments, and really brings the focus back to who are the people and what's right with them. It's so easy in the world to focus on what's wrong with us. But this is an opportunity we have to focus on what's good, what's right with people. And so I thought first I would just share a little bit about mine and Natalie's strengths and how we play off of each other's strengths in doTERRA and outside of doTERRA. And then I thought I'd jump into some questions that were submitted by you. So my background is graphic design. So if it's not visual, then it's not real. So I had to take mine and Natalie's strengths and turn it into a visual. There's a color code right here. So I took each of our top 10 strengths and I put them into this matrix so that we could see, okay. And it wasn't until I put them in this color code that I could see I actually have a lot more strategic thinking in my top 10 than I thought. Natalie and I used to just use our top 5 and focus on those, but we got some coaching from Jeremy Breckheisen, and I think that's who you were talking about, Olivera, was Jeremy. He was a dear friend of ours, and he's one of the top 10 employees at Gallup. And doTERRA had him come speak at the convention, and he helped us shift our focus to our top 10 instead of just our top 5. So with that, I can see that I do have 3 in my top 10 in the influencing domain, but I also have 6 out of my top 10 in strategic thinking, which is a lot. I only have 1 executing and 0 relationship building. So kind of interesting, right? Especially in this network marketing business, which is all about building relationships. But if we look at Natalie, she actually has 4 of her top 6 are relationship building. This makes a lot of sense, right? She is so good at connecting with people and loving on people and understanding their needs, especially their unmet needs, and serving them from that space. She's also really good with her individualization at tailoring her solutions to people's needs. So I'll go into more detail on that later. But it was also interesting to color code this. Natalie has always told me, you need to do the influencing. I need you to get the team excited about this new program, or share this new event, or get our kids on board with some new chores that need to be done. So she would have me put me in front to do the influencing. But when I color coded our strengths, I realized that she's got 3 influencing skills in her top 10. And so we use our influencing strengths differently, but it was interesting to realize we both have them. And here she is now.
Hi, guys.
Hello. Hey, good to see you. How's it going?
Awesome. Good to be with you. Andy is the pro here, so keep rolling.
Okay.
Awesome. So it was also interesting to recognize we both have belief, and it's both at number 4. But I have a lot of strategic thinking. Natalie has 1. I have one executing, she has two. But we also got some coaching from Eddie Vila, who's a StrengthsFinder coach. And he called me an influencing sandwich because I've got influencing 1, 5, and 10. And so there's a strategy to using your 1 and 10 together and your 1 and 5 together. And so interesting that, 3 of my top 10 are influencing in that, in those placements.
And my 1 and 5 are more in that relationship piece so that I can hone in on relationships, and they both have a lot to do with, dialing into the individual needs of people, individualization and relator. So I wanted to talk first of all, let me give you a big picture view. I'm a geek when it comes to this stuff. So I did a chart with all of our front line. I haven't finished it yet, but this is a work in progress. So I've started to color code, and then we've also started doing it with our kids. So not all of our kids we have 7 children, and not all of them have taken the test yet, but you can start to see, Max got a lot of strategic thinking. Sam's got a lot of the influencing. So anyways, fun to see how different we are, but what our similarities are too. It's helped us a lot in our doTERRA parenting, right? That we do with mentoring and really dialing that in. And it's helped us a lot in our family to know how to engage them in our business and how to help them become better. We notice whenever we live by the strengths mindset versus the weakness mindset, it produces completely different results. So I just want to emphasize for you all what a huge change that this made in our team when we started bringing this mindset, because until then I was like, okay, what are the problems and how can we fix them? And that's where we focused in. But now we focus in on highlighting. We like to joke about getting out the highlighter pen and just highlighting the goodness in ourselves, in others. And boy, it has just brought out so much more good. And I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't even know you could think this way. And I feel like it took a while to kind of take this thinking in, but I'll be forever grateful for this program because it's changed every part of my life, because my mind now doesn't go to, oh, what am I doing wrong? How can I fix that? But it goes to, hey, what's right about me and what's right about them? And how can we grow that and focus there?
So let's get specific about some of the things that Natalie and I do in our everyday lives to leverage our strengths, to use our differences and be better because of it. So anytime we're launching a new team, my activator wants to get going as soon as the idea has been had. So let's say we want to do a Facebook campaign. I'm ready to build a website yesterday and start running ads today. Like my activator just has to have action, motion, and future movement. So Natalie has relator, developer, and restorative. And so she is way, way better at nurturing our existing teams rather than getting excited about new projects and new teams. So when it comes to, mentoring someone who's been in the business for a year or 3 or 5, she has all the right skills to, first of all, believe in them. She can see with her individualization, she can see their unique potential, and with her belief, she can know how powerful they could be and how to access that strength.
So whether you're doing this as a couple and you're splitting up more of the actions in your business, or whether you're just thinking about your leaders this way, either way, this applies to you, right? Mm-hmm. It's about dialing in on those strengths and not beating each other up for our weaknesses. I was talking to a leader last night and she's like, I cannot place anyone with this builder because she doesn't come to my meetings regularly. And she doesn't like to nurture her team the way I want her to. And I thought, oh my goodness, okay, here we are again. And here was that leader wanting her leader to show up just like her and with strengths in the areas that she has strengths. And I was like, wake up, look, she's the perfect complement to you. How can you work with her? How can you offer some kind of mentoring thing for her team so that her team doesn't, go without mentoring because she's not very good at nurturing? And how can you bring a little bit of your strengths in there in a healthy way, right? So just allowing that and dialing into that has been super key for us in our partnerships, right? So instead of fighting against the things we don't have, seeing what we have and bringing those together, just like Andy's talking about. We have a mixed audience. To some people has already completed the test, and to some people this is new. And I would like to just say to those to whom this is new, that when you make the test, you do not only get the list of your strengths. So you don't only get 5 words, but you also get a report. So this report is going to give you a much more details to understand what activator means, or what, Andy and Natalie just listed a lot of key strengths. So you don't need to figure out, okay, what does that mean? But in the report, you will get a detailed explanation. Might be important for you. So you don't have to worry, what does it mean? You'll know after you completed it. I'm so glad you said that, Oliver, because, this is something that we ask every new wellness advocate to do. If they want to share or build a business, we ask them to take this test and invest in that. And then they get their results, and you'll get your results so that you can look through, you can read through it. And this is such a great instrument. We have found that it is accurate, so accurate. Let's hit on a few more of those basic questions, Oliver. We like to have them in their first 14 days so that we can partner them up with someone or their strengths would be best used. So it's something that when we are doing the lifestyle overview, and then we say, are you ready to launch your business? We give them that assignment as part of launching your business. We want to dial into your specific needs. We want to help you be successful in this business. And we can do that best by understanding your strengths. And we just have them take the basic test, which I think is it $39? I think $39 USD. I think it's less. I was doing it 2 years ago, but it's cheap. I think if you just do the 5, it's much cheaper. It's 20 something. Yeah. I feel like there's a link on doTERRA that we have right in our materials. Yep, there you go.
I think if you buy the book, that's actually the cheapest way. I think you can buy the book for $15 and it comes with a test. With a code to take. But you have to wait for a minute to get the book. Right. Or you could give people that book in person, right? And then they have the book and the test. But yes, it's translated in so many languages. It's very universal. So. Yeah. And just a little background, Gallup is the largest repository of data on Earth. Like they're one of the oldest companies around, and they've been doing surveys and testing and human metrics for decades. And so they have a massive amount of knowledge. And then, Clifton was one of the thought leaders there. The name of the book is StrengthsFinder 2.0. So I'll type that in the box. But the company you can have full confidence in. doTERRA doesn't create partnerships lightly. I've never seen them create a partnership like this. And so they've done their due diligence, and I think it's the most widely respected personality type test that exists.
And, you can get your 5 top strengths for that very low price, or you can unlock all of your strengths, which would tell you all 34 strengths in order. That means it tells you all your strengths and all of your weaknesses. And we love that. And we recommend it if people want to do that, but we also don't want them to feel like they have to invest a lot of money up front. So we require the basic test, but then say, hey, if you're interested for yourself, this is going to be really useful. Because the things that we look at the most are the top 10 and then the bottom 5 usually. So if I know their bottom 5, then I know, oh, okay, we're just going to, those are areas that we're going to stay away from. I'm not going to ask them to be a pro there. We're not going to focus on changing their weaknesses. I love this story of like, if you think about, Michael Jordan, amazing basketball player, like what if they, instead of letting him be amazing at basketball and focusing on basketball, they said, hey, every day, if you just come out and you practice baseball or football, then you will be well-rounded and amazing. And sometimes we do that in life, right? What a tragedy to do that to Michael Jordan, who had those gifts and strengths. We want to do the same thing. We want to let you play ball in the area that you are so good at. We want your strengths to shine. And we don't want to make you go down to your weaknesses and try and get those better. All the statistics show that you will become a more powerful leader by honing in and focusing on your top strengths.
And also it's much more fun.
Much more fun.
So
much more fun.
Joy.
Yeah.
Right?
It's liberating.
We want
to be yourself.
It is liberating, and we want to be in flow. And it's interesting how so much of our natural culture, I would say, is focusing on weakness, right? How many of us grew up with our parents saying, oh, if you could just get better at this, or focus in on that so you can get better at that, when instead of focusing as much on our strengths. And so it took us a really big journey. It was like, okay, I've got to read my strengths again. I've got to remember that I'm good at these things, and I've got to focus there and stop beating myself up over my weaknesses. And it brought tons more joy to our business and to our life.
So one of the questions somebody asked was, is it worth getting all 34, paying the extra to get all 34 strengths? We absolutely feel like it's worthwhile. If somebody's just getting started and maybe they just want to be a sharer, it's fine to just get the top 5. But anyone who's committed and is, really, the personal development that comes with studying your strengths, it's exceptional. It's really amazing. So we think it's well worth doing the top 35.
And also, if I may add, what I've recognized is that for a long time, it was advised to look at the top 5. But I recognize that in the last 1 or 2 years, they're talking more about the first 10.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The first 10. Even when you do, these days, when you do the 34, they have a different section, not for the top 5, but for the top 10. somehow. So I think they kind of recognized it that, yeah, those extra 5 also could be very useful to know.
Yep.
Yes. I think those top 10, they say, over time, some of these top 10 may change places a little bit, but your top 10, they say that is just who you are. It's the DNA of who you are. And if you can understand that and work with that, watch out, world, because you will be so powerful.
A lot of the questions I'm seeing are just what are the practical ways that you implement this with your team. So let's say you do have a brand new enrollee and you find out their top 5 strengths. How would you use that to decide placements? Are you going to place people with similar strengths together or opposite strengths?
And I would say to that, some of the best combinations have been people with opposite strengths, because, in order to, even if you just look at pipes, there are a lot of people that might not be great at follow-up. It's like Andy. How good are you at follow-up?
Terrible.
I'll let him say that.
Oliver knows.
But activating and starting out, he is really great at sharing and inviting and enrolling. That's his thing. But I'm really good at nurturing and supporting and taking care. So it's really amazing to kind of let those gifts work for you, right? So if we were leaders, I would place us together because we would work good together. You don't usually you place by location and synergy. So synergy meaning how well are they going to work together, right? And I'm always asking the question, where will they grow best? And synergy is often created from differences, from supporting strengths, not same strengths.
Strengths were, because we didn't understand strengths, it was shutting the whole thing down. We tried to do a frontline call for a long, long time where we would come together and talk about what events do we want to do together? What are some tools we want to create together? And there were 2 people on those calls who had command in their top 2 strengths. And so guess who took over the calls every time? Those 2 people. And everybody else who didn't have command, guess what? They got so sick of it, they stopped coming to those calls. And so understanding the differences and understanding the strength of command, we were able to put in place some parameters to make it safe. So we found that if we let the people with command speak last, then the people who didn't have command felt much safer.
So we would ask a question and then we would start at our youngest leader. And so they all got to talk. And then our last 2 leaders had a lot of command and they got their turn. And then our calls went a lot better because we knew how to work with that. So, wherever you are feeling pain points in your business right now, I think strengths could be a big solution for you to feel more joy, right? And to also know better how to work with other people.
One of the tools that we use on a very regular basis is they're called theme insights. And so Clifton developed these tools, and they're a powerful mentoring tool. So like if I'm coaching someone with communication in their top 5, it says on the one side, it has the I am and the I I will, I bring, I need. And then on the other side, it's what that person is, what their natural strengths are.
So we use this a lot when we were first learning. So maybe before a mentoring call, we would pull out
their top 5.
Yep, their top 5 cards. And we would like take 5 minutes just to read over those cards and remember what matters to that person, right? Because then I can better see the world through their eyes and help them move forward. Instead of me showing up with all of my strengths and not understanding them and how to work with their strengths. So you can do both. You still be you. You bring your strengths. You don't need to hold back in that way, but bring your strengths and understand their strengths is the best combination.
So to give it a specific example, we have a leader on our front line whose their top strength is communication. And I have it like in my bottom 5. And so they like to communicate a lot. If they're awake, they're talking. And it can drive me crazy. But if I remember communication is actually their top strength, then it helps me calm down and helps me realize, okay, how can we put this to work? You know, if there's an event that needs to be promoted, I need to be helping them be out front promoting it. If there's someone who just needs someone to talk to, they're going to be the person for the job. Like it doesn't have to drive you crazy. It can be used to strengthen everyone, and it can help them shine at what they're good at.
And it helps us make sure, because communication is not one of our top strengths, it helps us say, oh, she will feel loved if we make sure and communicate that clearly to her, you know? So it helps you know what they will value and what they need to succeed, right? Because that's going to help her be her best in doTERRA.
So there is actually a booklet that was created by doTERRA about the strengths. And if you come to training and tools, you go to marketing materials, and you come, first I'll show you the English version. It's right here. So try to find strengths guide. If you click on it, you will find doTERRA specific training material and information. It is a part of empowerment success on how you can use these strengths. A lot of useful and very, very practical information. And also it can help you to understand yourself and recognize how you can best work with your teams and with other people. So that's the document. But and it has already been translated to various languages, but not to all. But our team is working on it. So let me, for example, come to the Hungarian one. It's right there. It was here in English, but it will be somewhere on the page. So you click on it, you see it's available in Hungarian. But I would recommend just come to this site and see if it is available in your languages. But if not, know that this is a top priority for us, and you guys will get it soon. On the doTERRA.com website, there is a section about it's a set of videos explaining how you can use it, the various strengths in your behalf, and in those videos you receive some advices. Those are usually 1 to 3 minutes videos. Now, they have not been localized to any languages yet, but I talked to the guys in the marketing team, and we put our heads together, and soon we'll get an answer when it will be localized. But if you just take, I think you already have, you can have 2 or 2.5 sources. So first, the report. That's the top number 1. So if you do it, they offer it in a lot of languages. It's a very well known and recognized program, so they understand that international audience is interested in doing them. So they have it in a lot of languages. So that's number one. Number two, this training right here. So please just I will do a recording and make sure that you watch it again and again, and you can share it with your team members. And three is the strengths guide. Find your strengths guide, which I just showed you. So you already have at least 2, but soon 3 resources. I would say it's more than enough. It's amazing already. But as a foam on the cake, I'll tell you in a later stage when the videos will be available as well. But I'm telling you, you don't need to wait for the videos. It's absolutely not necessary. With these 2-3 tools, you can find out your strengths and you can support your teams.
I love that. And look at how much is available for you right now. We were just reviewing the last questions and making sure we covered everything. And one other thing that has been really useful for us is connecting to people. Maybe show the 4 quadrants again. So when we have a training event, sometimes we like to break down into these 4 groups.
So what we do is we have people look at their top 5, and whichever domain they have the most strengths, or maybe they have 2 in their top 2 or top 3. Like we're looking for heavy concentrations, right? So like for me, I would definitely go to the green group, right? The strategic thinking, because I've got 2 out of my top 5. Natalie would definitely go to the relationship building corner because she's got 3 out of her top 5. So we split up into these 4 groups based on what they have the most of.
And what we've found is then if we get together and we say, okay, what's working? That being in a group of other people that are great at relationship building and that's their strength, they have a lot of ideas that really resonate with me and can help me. And then after learning a lot from those people that I might be similar to, then we would go around and share. This is the top ideas from the relationship building group in inviting right now, in presenting, in enrolling. We would go around and share those top ideas of what's working. And that helped us break through a lot. So that may be a good idea in your trainings to apply that.
Yeah. So you have each of the 4 groups go through the pipes and break down what's working for you in these areas. How do you approach this? Where do you get stuck? And like Natalie said, it's just the energy in the room is buzzing because people are like, oh my gosh, people finally get me and I'm not crazy. And I can see now, who's in the other groups and how they show up, and they're not crazy. They just do it differently.
Yeah.
But you look at the top ranks in doTERRA and you'll see all of the strengths represented. There's no magical formula. Like you can't write yourself out and say, well, I don't have this or that strength. Like anyone can do it, but understanding how to use your strengths is key.
How do you customize like empowered success? Or, we talked a little bit about how you might customize the pipes and how you might have strengths showing up there. But what I love about the guides is they're really universal. You bring your strengths and then you use that live guide to give them a glimpse of the possibilities of them living the lifestyle of doTERRA. Use the share guide to help them know how to just share initially. Use the build guide to let them know about the possibilities of building. That I think when you understand a builder's strengths and you've got those dialed in, then you can help them better know how to do their business, right? Maybe maybe if they're not good on communication, then the guides are really key for them, because the guides communicate the rest of everything, you know? So you've got to say, hey, even if you don't go over this, make sure and remind them, hey, go over the details on the LRP. Frequently asked questions, or those kind of things. So that way you can help them use their strengths. And if communication is really low, then the guides can help fill in the gaps of our weaknesses too. And that's really powerful.
Natalie and Andy, there is a question from Agatha Goldstein. Is this test available for us all or just for specific ranks?
It's available for all, and we invite everyone that wants to be a wellness advocate. We don't invite customers because a lot of them are just looking to use the product, but anyone that wants to be a wellness advocate, we invite them to take the test, and they can take the test and it will be powerful for them.
Maybe what we can tell, or maybe can you tell us, like, how does it look like? Like, how much time does it take? Like, how does it work to do the test?
Get in a quiet place where you don't have any other distractions. Get your phone out and away, and you just focus on that test. And it's really simple to do. And we like to remind people not to overthink. Don't overthink. Just whatever you would answer initially, just the first thought that comes to your mind, do that. And I think that is really useful,
especially that you have 20 seconds to answer a question.
Yeah.
So you cannot sit there for hours, think, oh, what's the best answer? With Natalie, they set up the system in a way that really the first impression, the first answer, you need to answer. You can't wait and overthink, or you can if you really want, but
your test isn't going to be as accurate, right?
I would like everybody to know that we also, within the company, we take this very seriously. So everybody has taken these tests, or not everybody, but we're encouraging people to do these tests. And then we also share the results with each other. So we can look at we're looking at the top 10, top 5, top 10 results, and that helps us to understand the other colleagues, how to work with each other. And a funny thing happened the other day. I was traveling with Jared, Jared Auger. We talked about the Strengths Finder and all that stuff. And, he shared his strengths, the top 5. I shared my top 5. And a funny thing happened. He said, when I said my top 5, he said, "Oh, now I understand." He said this. He said this. He said, "Oh," and he's a trainer, so he's elbow deep into the program. And I said, "Okay, what do you mean?" And I get scared. I said, "So because my number 2 is intellection."
Wow.
So I like to look at things from various point of view. I don't give an answer usually very fast. Usually I like to think about it. But it also means that sometimes when I'm in a conversation, sometimes, not always, but sometimes if the topic is deep, sometimes I wait with my answer for a couple of seconds. So like there's a question and I'm saying something like that, think, and then I give my answer. And Jared told me that, "Oh my gosh, Oliver, when we first met, I was not sure if you understand my questions." Because my English is not native. My native language is Hungarian. And as you could hear, it's pretty good. It's not perfect. It's amazing. Pretty good. So maybe like he said, first I thought I wasn't, he didn't say I thought, he said, "I was not sure that you fully understand my questions, but actually now I understand that you give additional thoughts to the topic. That's great. I'm going to, and now he understands that, I'm just looking at additional information sometimes, or my thought process is maybe a little bit deeper. And it was great to clarify it well between us. And and since then, we looked at each other. I mean, I know Kirk's, Murray's, Jared's, many of my colleagues' talents, and that helped us even within the company tremendously. Just wanted to share. So final thoughts are yours.
Awesome.
I love that. And I love how once we get comfortable with this, just like you're comfortable in your own strengths and you live them, you know, then we can operate, we attract more of what we are about, right? Because we are living our strengths. Can you feel the difference between people that are just like comfortable in their own skin and those that are still trying to be something that they're not? To me, it's you can taste it, you can touch it. It's so real when someone is comfortable with who they are. You have a great mission within doTERRA and in your life that you will be able to attract all the goodness to you that is coming right now and is meant to be there as you do that. And that just means you're going to have a greater impact. You can make more of an impact because you're comfortable with who you are and you're shining in who you are.
Be your brilliance.
Yeah.
It's the greatest gift you can give to the world is to be your genius. Like, don't try to be someone else. Don't try to minimize your weaknesses. Just be your most brilliant self.
Remember in the beginning when I tried to be Elise and Elise tried to be me?
Yeah.
And we were both really bad at it, right? But when I chose to be me and just to lean into that, that's when we started having more impact and doing more good.
A couple years ago, doTERRA invited us to go with the owners and the top leaders to Kenya. And that was a life-changing experience. We got to go on a safari and we got to see all of these native animals in their native environments. And so you had the elephant and you had the lion, and to watch that lion march across the prairie like it owned the thing, like Natalie and I were in tears because it was so impressive, like so
moving. You could feel the emotion of it because that lion was being so true to its strengths and what it was created to be. And it left us speechless.
Yeah. And that's our invitation to you, is to be your brilliance and to shine in the strengths that you've been given. Get to know your strengths and come to love them. And as you do, you will shine bright, and people will want to have a part in your light and your mission.
And it will make you feel almost like a child again because you're having so much more joy and going towards what you really are meant to do. Have that joy, run towards it because you were meant for greatness. You've got brilliance within you, and we're so excited to see it shine on an even greater level.
Well, Natalie and Andy, thank you so much to share your wisdom and also experiences, because we all would like to avoid making mistakes that you probably already experienced, and you can help us big time. Thank you very, very much. You've been doing this for more than a decade, helping us and being the pioneer. And I know being a pioneer is not always fun and not always easy, but we are very, very grateful that you took this role on yourself and you're helping us out with proven, tested, working solutions. We don't need to invent the wheel. We just need to use what others have already created and tested.
Trust the process. This is an incredible process. So just trust it and lean into it. And you guys are all pioneers. We're so grateful to be here among you. We are among the greats. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And you know what? I always have the good feeling working for doTERRA and supporting these people, the people, and be behind this mission. But now having this call, just be in this call. Guys, if you haven't learned anything else about doTERRA, you were just attended this webinar, this could already change your life big time. So I love that our company is offering so much to the world, amazing natural solutions, We have a lot of great programs, a business opportunity, but also we have amazing personal development programs. And if you come with us, and if you believe us, and if you take our word and you take these tests and you do all these things and use it in your life, I mean, don't be fooled just listening to this and don't do anything with it. That would be the foolish thing. You're spending 1 hour here and then you just continue with your normal life. Take this information and use it.
We challenge you, take it in the next day. Will you take it? Do it now. Act on it now when you're feeling it, right? So what you learned doesn't just slip away. If you put it into action, you'll keep remembering it, and you can take this forward with you.
Who's excited and would like to do it? And we'll do it in the next 48 hours. Guys, let us know in the chat. Just say anything like me or who or something. Let me know who is going to do it. Okay. Me.
Amazing.
Rockets are coming. Okay. Guys, they have 1.7 million people in their teams. And you know what do they do right now? They're spending their time, precious time, with us. I hope you guys feel appreciated and feel that this was a very, very special moment for all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.
You too.
See you guys. Bye-bye.